Hello, everybody. How are you doing? It's Damon yet again, and I've noticed that today will be the 100th episode of Damon's List. So I want to thank you all to my subscribers and the subscribers to come. So I want to say thank you. You allowing this to make it possible. So I said I was going to do a Q&A, and I thought what better way to basically reward this or to celebrate this occasion than basically with a Q&A. And I would basically, it's not gonna be a long video, but I have basically four questions on YouTube, and there's something I add in real life, so I will add them at the end. I will start with basically the YouTube version, the YouTube questions, and afterwards I will talk about the question I got in real life. So the first one, okay, it's from a good friend of mine, Chris Ludek at CK Ludek. He asked me, what's my favorite episode of Breaking Bad? Of course, there's Ozymandias as basically the before the penultimate episode. I was really there, but I will just say that the finally La Felina was very good. Was very good, and it just it solved everything, basically resolved everything, every conflict there was. I mean, Walter White basically taking his family off the hook for his actions. It's like in some ways it's heartbreaking to see the fact that his descent to Eisenberg was basically his descent to Eisenberg was final, but he still had the common sense to know that it cost him. Yeah, it gave his family financial security, but at what cost? In the end, it was more for finding a new purpose for himself than for the family. It's basically closure toward his family, but also a revelation toward himself. Like he discovered that about himself. It was mostly for himself to feel like he matters. You had Jesse basically moving forward to the future, basically finally able to move forward. And yeah, Walter White was able to go in peace, as peacefully could. And I like the show did not back out from that ending. And yeah, he was devastated, but it kind of needed to. And one thing I love about Breaking Bad, yeah, Better Call Saul, but it's not a show that lasted on for like 10 seasons. And it's like, okay, is it supposed to be over already? No, it never overstayed its welcome. It was 5 seasons and left. It finished. And look at basically its impact since then. To me, that's incredible that show had incredible impact despite having 5 seasons. Like I understand why Jerry Seinfeld wanted to end his show after 8 or 9 seasons. I'm not sure, but they wanted to do another season. I think it was 9 season, and maybe the studios wanted another season, just say 10, and he said no, let's end it now before there's bad ideas. And while I prefer to have a decade of shows like directly, if Seinfeld had no other ideas or it felt like we're just going to turn into a circle, then it's better it ends. And that should be basically a message from Hollywood. It's like rather than add needless amount of seasons to a show. How about you just end the ones that, if it ends the main arc of the story, then end it there. Supernatural. It's a great show for like the five first season. They kept on continuing for like 10 more seasons. And I felt like it went into circle. Again, and most of this, I thought some of the dialogue was cringe. I thought back then was cringe. And they would say, Damon, it's just you. But looking at the boys' finale or final season, knowing that Eric Kripke was like the main writer of Supernatural, I'm thinking to myself, I told you guys the guy can be cringe. It's like here he goes, he's gonna look at something and basically we'll look at some popular culture meme and basically have to try to put it in his shows, and it just makes me just roll my eyes every time. But with this Squid Game, the last season I thought was a cop out, a disappointing cop out at that. Stranger Things had a good ending, but not great because there's a lot of plot holes about it. I think in the last few years, Cobra Kai, the best series finale, at least final season that I've seen in a long time. Not forever, Not ever, but in a long time. Because it respected its lore, it respected the characters, and where they ended up at the end respected their story arc. So yeah, but again, along with the question, but yeah, Ozymandias might be just as much of my favorite episode as the finale. So that's for this. Hope I answered that question there. About Doc the Metal Freak. That's your name, okay? So anybody can basically blame me for that. Which wrestling promotion have you attended the most? It's easy, WWE. Uh, I attended many, many wrestling events in the past. I went to basically 1994. I went to the WrestleMania 10 Revenge Tour. It was a very good house show. Like, I usually say that mainly work rate isn't always what matters, and it's true. But I really like the I really enjoyed my time that house show. I mean, the first match I ever saw live was 1-2-3 Kid versus Quang. Laugh it up, it was a very good match. It was I think we had the Quebecers trying to fight unsuccessfully for the World Tag Team titles against the Head Shrinker. PCO turn against Jacques Rougeau. And the main event was Bret Hart defending against Owen Hart like several days after the King of the Ring. Bret Hart won by reversing a roll up. And the moment they went for the roll ups, you saw people sprinting toward the aisle, sprinting basically toward the guardrail and basically the ringside area because they just wanted to clap Bret Hart's hands. And I thought that's wonderful, you know. But over the years, I went to other house shows. I went to an house show basically where there's Razor Ramon and Jeff Jarrett in the main event for the Intercontinental title and ladder match, in which case there was a title change. Razor Ramon won the IC title for the third time there. Uh, I saw Diesel versus PCO, which was an okay match. And Kevin Nash said it was more like 70-30. No, it was pretty much 50-50. PCO expected maybe to have more popularity. It wasn't the case, but Diesel wasn't overwhelmingly more popular either. It was like in the middle. Uh, I saw Bret versus Diesel in a cage match, which was very good. Undertaker versus Yokozuna casket match. In 1996, I saw Shawn Michaels defending the WWE title against Vader, and I thought in a much better match than the SummerSlam. What else? I saw Undertaker versus Mankind in the same show that I saw Shawn versus Vader. It's like a better. I felt like that also was much better than SummerSlam '96 because there was reaction and was purpose to every move. Uh, I saw Shawn Michaels. I'll show headlined by Shawn Michaels versus Mankind. Pretty good, but Shawn seemed pissed for some reason. And I was there in the 1997 Survivor Series. Boy, that basically was very awkward at the end. I mean, uh, seeing basically the Montreal screw job in person, it's like it just left you with a lot of questions. Like, what just happened? Like a very weird vibe after this. Like, what happened? He didn't submit. Even from basically that RC, you could see that Bret Hart didn't tap out. Nothing happened. So yeah, in the years following this, it's like I was an out show 1998 when it was Ken Shamrock as Owen Hart. There was The Rock with Triple H. People talk about E, The Rock at E. The moment the first chord of his song, it's like Rocky sucks right away there. But when he became the leader of the nation, Rocky sucks, Rocky sucks. The moment he hit the people's elbow, everybody popped. You know? Saw Austin versus Undertaker versus Kane the same house show. And then afterwards, I think I went to a uh, SmackDown taping in 2001. I went to WrestleMania 18, saw Rock Hogan live, and I had a feeling that Hogan would be hulking up. And the moment he did, it's like I just said to my brother, "Hey, I think Hogan's gonna hulk up. It just makes sense there," and he did. I didn't expect that people would be cheering like crazy though. And I also was in the Raw where Shawn Michaels cut that wonderful, deliciously evil promo in 2005. You know the one. Since then, what have I attended? I've didn't attend much WB event because a lot of them are very, very expensive, and it's like honestly, were they worth it well? I went to some indie events. What else have I basically checked out TNA in 2024 Slammiversary. I thought it was good, but it's like it's today's age. It seems like 3 hours would have been good, but no, let's add another hour. So by the fourth hour, and even then they were over 4 hours, I kind of was like, I'm ready for this to end. Nothing is the pro wrestlers like 3 hours is enough for now for a pay-per-view. Like unless it's WrestleMania, don't. And if it's a case, that's completely opposite of WWE. It's like WWE doesn't give you enough work rate or work, sorry, not work rate, but doesn't give you enough wrestling. This one gave you a bit too much. So I was ready for it to end. Anyway, long-winded question, but I wanted you all uh to have everyone basically enough time. Diverse 998. When is the last time you read a novel or novella? Can you recall the past few times? Of course. I read One Flew of Cuckoo's Nest from Ken Casey. Love that one. Love the movie. What else? I've tried Ride basically several years back. I saw read Game of Thrones, A Song of Fire and Ice, and I felt like my rule for those books is like every odd numbered book is the best. The even numbered books is just setups. I'm not sure if you guys read them. It's like it felt like sometimes J.R.R. Martin, George R.R. Martin, sorry, would pad out the books needlessly with description of food. Like, oh, I'm stuck. What am I gonna do? Talk about the food for like 3, 4 pages. It's like, dude, I don't care what they eat. I don't care what the characters eat. I can make it up in my mind what they could eat. I've also read some comic books, as in Batman, The Long Halloween, which I got in my house. I basically read up Batman Year One, Nightfall, Dark Knight Returns, uh, The Watchmen. What else? I'm looking at basically some books. Oh yeah, The Disasters Artist by Greg Sestero is very fu good, very funny too. But it's also it gives you a hindsight in the mindset of Tommy Wiseau, which is kind of half hilarious, half kind of disturbing. So what else? I'm trying to see what else that I read. Uh, I'm just seeing this. I read the book Rebecca, which maybe it's a product of its time, but I kind of was bored reading through it. I was wondering what the hell was big deal about it. And yeah, that's about it I can mention. So thank you, Diverse 990. Like I said, question. One friend asked me what would be my top 10 or top 20 video games of all time, and that is a subject for another video. So yeah. I was also asked what is a guilty pleasure movie of mine? Well, there's The Room. Like if a movie is bad, but it's just so funnily bad, I get enjoyment out of it. I'm not angry. I think the worst kind of movies are the boring ones, the overlong ones. Like it can be boring in an hour and a half. You can be over a good movie, but it's like, hey, it's 3 hours when it could have been two. That I don't like. And yeah. Or a movie with basically that everybody's trying to pretend is great, but then you watch it, it's like, what the hell was that? Like I just imagine the Krusty Clown meme. What the hell was that? Yeah. Okay. So anyway, this is my short Q&A. I wish you all like what you saw. I'm sorry for basically it's not that long, but I don't want to ramble on. So thank you all again for the wonderful question. Thank you once again for 100 episodes of Damon's List. and I see you guys later. Peace.